Pittsburgh Steelers defensive end Cameron Heyward goes off on a rant to Steelers fans about talking about his contract situation and calling him washed. So, as we all know, Cameron Heyward, he's looking for a contract extension, and he's looking for around 3 years in a new deal. And many Steelers fans have their own opinion on that because Cameron Heyward is allegedly sitting out of all voluntary programs and kind of practices, training, and things of that nature, and may even extend into OTAs if a deal doesn't get done. So he goes off on his podcast giving a message to Steelers fans. But first, before I get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like the video. Now let's get right into it. This is Cameron Heyward's direct quote from his podcast, Not Just Football, about the doubters who think he's washed. Here it is. Just know it's all screenshotted. Everybody has been having an opinion, and that is just great for me. I tell you that. That is like the icing on the cake to all of this. And I appreciate you. I love you guys. It's great you guys have your opinions, and I value them, but I can't wait to have some fun with this. End quote. So, it seems as though Cameron Heyward, he has seen all the comments of the Steelers fans basically saying how the Steelers should not give him his extension. In 3 years, he'll be 38 years old. His play has decreased every single year. In the last 3 years, his stats have got increasingly lower, and also he's gotten injured. He's seen all those comments, and he makes this statement saying, I'm going to prove you guys all wrong. And I've seen all your comments. I still love you, but I'm about to go off. So Cameron Heyward, let's hope he actually does have a career, or at least a better season than last year, in which he played less than half the season, or the better season than 2 years ago, or better season than 3 years ago. Hopefully he does use this as motivation and actually helps the Steelers defense. Hopefully this is a turnaround for Cameron Heyward. We're not hoping he fails and does bad. We want him to do good. And that's all coming from that we don't believe he should be getting a 3-year contract because of how his play has been the last few seasons. You can't pay someone a huge contract, $20+ million a year, for what they used to be, if they're not giving the production still at a level. You're not going to pay them for what they used to do. You have to pay them what you think they're going to do within the next 3 years. So him holding out for a contract is where everything stems from the Steelers fans' comments towards him. And like I said, he's been injured too. You look at his injuries, he's been having this ankle injury he dealt with before even the regular season started last year. And then he got injured. He had to have surgery and things of that. So he's been injured. So why would the Steelers fans think, hey, all of a sudden now at 36, 37, 38, you're just going to magically be healthy for a whole season when he hasn't been for the last few years? And that's where everything stems from in terms of the Steelers doubters, he so calls. And you know what? I have the stats right here. So let's just look at it. In 2021, Cameron's pressure rate was 10%. In 2022, his pressure rate was 8.2%. And in 2023, his pressure rate was 3.8%. So obviously, this just takes into account the snaps he's actually played, not the ones of him just being injured. So the snaps that he's actually played, you see how far it has dipped over 3 years. And then his sack percentage. In 2021, it was at 2%. In 2022, 1.8%. And in 2023, 0.8% sack percentage. Looking at pass rush win rate. In 2021, it was 12.2%. In 2022, it actually went up to 15.5%. But in 2023, it dipped all the way down to 9.7%. And then his run stop percentage. In 2021, it's 8.5%. 2022, 10.4%. In 2023, 11.7%. So basically every single category dipped in terms of pass rush over a 2-year span, over a 3-year span. But then the only thing that went up is his run stop percentage. So obviously, as you get older, it shows with Cameron Heyward, he's not as good in the passing game anymore, but he at least can still do something in the run game, stopping the run. That's what these numbers show, at least from that perspective, if you're taking that into consideration on his new contract. And his numbers have dipped significantly in the pass rush categories. So when Cameron Heyward is going on this rant to Steelers fans about having opinions about him, this is where it stems from. We're not just making up these numbers. His play has gone down the last few years. So just looking at the latest report, there's a report that just came out by the Post-Gazette talking about Cameron Heyward and his contract situation and everything like that by Gary Dulac. I'm going to just go over it really quickly. So, Gary Dulac, Pittsburgh Steelers insider and reporter, has said that Cameron Heyward and the Steelers have talked about a potential contract extension. And also, Cameron Heyward, he used his podcast last week to say he was going to skip the off-season training activities that began on Tuesday, and that if he didn't receive a contract extension, a threat basically made that it could be even further down into OTAs and things like that. So, at age 35, Gary Dulac has wrote that at age 35, coming off of off-season surgery, not only wouldn't the Steelers expect Cameron Heyward to attend the voluntary sessions, they would actually encourage him to skip them altogether. And even Steelers' late chairman, Dan Rooney, once told former tackle Tunch Inklin, who was in a contract holdout in his later years, to stay away from training camp so he wouldn't get hurt, and they would sign him closer to the regular season. So that's what he wrote, that they would actually prefer that he would stay away. So if they do get a contract done, he's not injured. And he's coming off of injury, so just keep rehabbing and doing the things we need to do to get ready for the season. So apparently the Steelers have had a discussion with Heyward about a contract extension, but it still has nothing more than that. It hasn't been anything more, Gary Dulac has said. So Cameron Heyward, he did not tell the Steelers, apparently, about his threat to skip OTAs, preferring to just announce it on his podcast, not just football. This is Gary Dulac's words. And apparently, Cameron Heyward is in his final year of his contract that will pay him $16 million and count towards $22.4 million against the salary cap. And the curious part about the situation is the Steelers have not and do not intend to ask Heyward to take a pay cut this season, and they are willing to honor that final year of his contract because of what he has done on the field as a 6-time Pro Bowler player and captain, but also what he's done off the field, winning a Walter Payton Man of the Year and in the community all the time. So they do not even appear worried about his cap hits for this season based off what his play has been the 3 years. And the thing about that is, when the Steelers fans mentioned maybe Cameron Heyward has to restructure his contract to stay with the team, he went off early in this offseason talking about how he's not taking that pay cut. But when you look at other star players for the Steelers, they have not always received the same treatment that Cameron Heyward is getting right now in his later years. Because when you look at it, Ben Roethlisberger, in his final year, had to take a $5 million pay cut to return for that final season in 2021. Former Pro Bowl linebacker James Harrison refused to take a pay cut as part of a restructured contract in 2013. And then, what team did he end up going to? He ended up going to the Cincinnati Bengals and left the Steelers. So that treatment wasn't the same. And former All-Pro running back Le'Veon Bell sat out of the 2018 season when the Steelers refused to budge on his contract demands. So that's why Cameron Heyward, when he keeps talking about his contract situation with the team, it's not like the Steelers are asking him to do anything unusual. And if anything, he's getting special treatment that some other players did not get in the past. But anyway, this is just my thoughts on the topic. That's what Gary Dulac has reported as well, and just the opinion on Cameron Heyward in general, and his rant that he went on about his contract and what the Steelers fans are saying about him and how he's going to use as motivation. But go ahead, use it as motivation and help us win a Super Bowl. win number 7 before you retire or before you get another contract. If you win that Super Bowl, then you'll get a contract 100%, more than likely. So, Cameron Heyward, Steelers fans, this is what has been done this offseason, what's been in the rumors, what's been in the drama, and things of that nature. But that's the end of this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about Cameron Heyward, basically giving this message to everyone of Steelers Nation about his contract and the doubters calling him washed. And do you believe he is receiving special treatment that other players didn't receive in the past? Do you think he should go to the mandatory OTAs when it comes true, or should he hold out like other players have held out in the past, like TJ Watt, Deontay Johnson, Macus Patrick, and some others? It wasn't necessarily a hold out, but a hold in. Should he do that? Let me know your thoughts. Or is he getting older and the Steelers should not give him a contract? Would you give him a contract extension? Let me know your thoughts. Me personally, no, I would not give him a 3-year deal. If anything, maybe a 1-year deal extension, not 3 years. But that's my thoughts. Let me know yours. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. I cover all. I have been covering all. And I'll continue to do so all throughout training camp, OTAs, and things like that, preseason, regular season. So turn on notifications for this channel, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys all later. Until the next video, I'm out. Peace.